Hello everyone, welcome to the session. We'll start once all the participants start logging in. Till then, happy waiting. I'm Debeshi. I'm going to host this session. Hi everyone, welcome to the session. I could see six participants joining. Welcome everyone. It would be nice if you can get to the chat window and quickly introduce yourself. Introduce in a way from which city you are, which country that or the countries that you want to apply. Yeah. Can everybody hear me? Hi Fahad. Hi Loknath. Hello everyone. Hi Ajehad. You're from Gujarat. Great. Welcome to the session. Hello Fahad. From which city are you from? Avinash, good evening. Welcome to the session. So very quickly, I want all of you to, take the name of the city that you belong to and also your name. And we'll start the session very soon. We have 9 of the participants. So it's 6:30 and let's start the session, right? Yeah. Just a sec. Right. So welcome everyone. Can everybody see my screen? Yeah. So today in this session of 45 minutes, I am going to cover tips and tricks about IELTS, TOEFL and PTE. Yeah, okay. And little about me. I am Debeshi Chakraborty, and I'm a Bengali. I did my education from Kolkata, and then I am a designer and architect by profession. And then I did my master's from London, University College of London, and that's the time I got three scholarships. Commonwealth shared. I got offered Shaving Cambridge and Bath International. All three of them were international scholarships, and my IELTS score was 8.5. And with that, I went to London. And the best part was, I went to Gandhiji's college. Okay. And life changed. I determined that, I want to contribute in a bigger scale. So I worked in London for a brief period and then came back to the country. And what you see as smart cities, I was working in the top, organization, infrastructure and planning in the world to do it in India. So some of the reds that you see are the cities where I have traveled, I've stayed, I've worked, and the rest I'm going to cover pretty soon. And now, I am associated with, I have my own startup, which is Dezinecareers, and I make smart citizens like you, right? So more than a decade in, international uh, profession, and now taking all of you global. So that's about me, and I consider myself as an ideator and a new age expert, right? So what we are going to do today. So today's session, I am divided into four distinct parts. Okay, I'll give you some information, and then we will do some hands-on work at the same time. Okay, great. Yeah. So ready to start? Are you excited? Nice. Right. Okay. So the first part is that how to start. Like this is actually the most difficult part. 90% of the time, this is where we go wrong. Because when we started, there were not many YouTube mentors or the real mentors in the country or globally who could actually give an idea about what to do and what not to do. So let me help you by, I've got a summary for all of you, a clear comparison between the three, and I'll take you through that. Okay, let's rock. So first of all, what is IELTS? What is TOEFL? And what is PTE? So three of them are language tests. Now, why do you need a language test? Right? You are going to a different geography, a different country where you would be studying, and after that, you would be incorporated in their system. Now, if your language becomes a barrier in your learning, in your working, in your communication, the effectiveness in all these geographies, time is money. So the effectiveness goes down. So in an attempt to calibrate your language to an international standard, these exams have been designed and formulated. So the most what do I say? The first one to start with is TOEFL. TOEFL started in 1964. It is the full form is Test of English as a Foreign Language. Now PTB is paper-based test. It is like pen and paper test in IELTS, right? So that started really early in 1964, right? And it is US, the country of origin, and that's where it's been pretty popular. Now in 2005, we have the internet-based test, which is IBT. Now, all of you who are going to prepare for TOEFL would be using this test, right? So that's about TOEFL. That was the the first the test to be there in terms of calibrating language for the entire globe. The second is IELTS. which is popularly known as like International English Language Testing System, or popularly known as IELTS. It was formulated around the 1980s, and it was launched first time in 1989. So many of you were not born that time, right? So it is, it was there in the late 80s and 90s. Now, PTE has always been a computer-based test. So, International Language Testing System (IELTS) has been traditionally a pen and paper test. But now, like in India, since August 2018, we also have the computerized or the online version available for the same. It's new, but it's becoming very popular, right? Now PTE is, and this system follows mostly the UK, the language pattern, UK Canadian, the colonial language pattern, and TOEFL uses US language pattern. Now the third one is Pearson test for English academic, which is PTE academic, and this is fairly new. It was introduced in 2009, and it is completely computer based. This is new age. Now, something you should know that all these exams are valid for 2 years. That's something which is common. Okay. Now, we will, go back and forth on, the utility of it. Something you should know that, this results which is given by IELTS, they take 14 days, whereas you get PT within 3 to 5 days, and TOEFL also sooner than IELTS, right? 10 days kind of that, right? So that this is one of the reason, because of the time factor, that PTE is becoming very popular. Okay, and you can also book the date within 24 hours. Now, I'll cover it for both IELTS and TOEFL. Okay. Results which come through PTE now can be directly sent to the universities, whereas in IELTS, you would get the result in 14 days, like you can see it online, and you will get the hard copy, which is called the TRF, the test report form. So when you are applying for the universities, you need to send. Some will ask for a scan copy, but a lot of them will ask for original of this. So when you're filling up the form, make sure that you say that you need 4 or 5 copies of it. Till 5 copies, I think it's free, but after that it is chargeable. Okay, so IELTS is like that. Now that's pen and paper version of IELTS. Like you write it with a pencil. So interesting part is that IELTS you have to give it with a pencil. It's really old school, right? Okay. Now the online version is comparable to TOEFL and PTE, where you can give it 7 days a week. Okay, and interesting part is that you can also give it in the evening. You can also give it, like there are three slots per day, and one is available in the evening. At least with IDP, it is there. Okay, and the results gets published sooner, between 5 to 7 days, right? So in TOEFL, you get it approximately 10 days, and then the is couriered to you within 13 to 14 days. And it depends from where you are, where your center is, right? Now, as I mentioned, that IELTS is, formatted in the colonial, processes. British Council and IDP, these are the two channel partners with whom you can block and register. ETS is the equivalent for TOEFL. I have mentioned the name of the website, and PTE is Pearson, right? Okay, so the number of attempts for all these exams is unlimited. Okay, so it's not a good idea to go unprepared. So you really need to take some time, like at least a week, 2 week, or a month long preparation, depending on the your hold on the language. But definitely, you should give a prepared attempt. TOEFL is an IELTS being really old exam. There are a lot of study materials which are available online, which are called mock. PT is fairly new. The number is limited. Okay, so that's in a nutshell. And there's a myth behind these scores, like, so which score is going to be accepted? So the score that you want to give, it's not the latest one. Okay, so you can give unlimited attempts, but it's advised that you give it in a gap of a month or so, so that it's taken you are taking care of why uh, you lost the score in the first place, right? So in TOEFL, 12 days gap is mandatory. You cannot book within 12 days, and in PTE it is 5 days. Okay, so this is in a nutshell, what these three exams are, offering. Now, where? So many of you have started the process of, shortlisting your universities, shortlisting the country, working on your SOPs, working on your recommendation. Like some of you are also booking your GRE, exam. So, if you are giving IELTS, then you are free to go to Canada, United Kingdom, Ireland, Germany, some parts of Europe, Australia, and New Zealand. These are, you have to remember, colonial countries, mostly colonial countries, except for Germany, right? Uh, in the US, it is limited, but in the last couple of years, a lot of universities have been open towards taking IELTS score. Okay, and but TOEFL remains a popular choice. TOEFL is still popular in US, and this is the number one. 98% of the universities which take TOEFL. If you're giving GRE, then TOEFL is more accepted. In Canada, also people have started accepting. UK, it is accepted. So, and the other countries, it has other preferences. For example, if you go to Australia or New Zealand, then it's going to be PTE academic version. Okay. Fees, very important. So fees for IELTS is 1300 and 250. So this is inclusive of GST, and PT is also comparable. It's 1300 and 300 rupees. TOEFL is still $180, which comes to be pretty close to again 13,000 rupees. So that's how, like, if you want to go, this is how you should book. And I'm going to share the link of to how to register, the where to register. So that's about it. uh in IELTS, the availability for pen and paper is limited, so you need to book maybe 14 to 10 days in advance. So if you're late, there are two dates, the pen and paper exam, 2 to 3 dates. For example, in September and August, there were 3 to 4 dates which were given, because there's a lot of rush. But typically the exam is conducted twice a month. Okay, so you really need to be aware of the dates. You can go to the British Council website or IDP website and check that, and block the date. One interesting part is that my suggestion would be, don't block the date without doing a diagnostic test or a mock test. There are a lot of online diagnostic tests for different sections which you can do, where you can understand your score. But for writing and speaking, like in all, not in IELTS, TOEFL, or PTE, I would say in all, go to an expert and get it evaluated. Okay. So the four sections which are there in IELTS, TOEFL, and PTE: reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Reading and listening is a test of your analytical skills. Okay, so people generally score pretty high, but in terms of speaking and writing, you need an expert to find your blind spot, right? that's not something you would be able to do on your own. You can take help for somebody who has given and cracked the exam. That's also fine. But that's something which I would strongly recommend before you book the date. A lot of students come to us asking that I've already booked the date, and when we do the diagnostic test, it is at times we are disappointed because the timeline that we suggest doesn't match with the date. Okay, but anyways, we can always work in any kind of a deadline, but it's always a good idea to be informed and to do a diagnostic test before you book the exam. So coming back to TOEFL, the IBT or the online booking is 7 days before, and for PTE, it's 24 hours, right? That's pretty cool. So that's one of the reason why people kind of go for PTE. But I would take you through all the nuances of these exams to understand which one you should do, because it varies from person to person, right? So this is a screenshot, and these are the website. This is how it looks like. So if you look at TOEFL, there are two kinds of availability. Seats available now, and there's late fee. Late fee is not showing up here. So and if you see in IDP, again, the green ones are the dates which are available. Okay. And so all these three exams are conducted in India. There are different centers for the same. You can't, whether it's a pen and paper test or whether it's an online test, you can just, sit at home and give the test. Okay. So there are centers where you have to go. And in case of TOEFL, PT, and IELTS, the web-based version that you have to sit with your headsets. You'll be sitting in a cubicle and you'll be giving the exam, right? But in terms of the pen and paper version, you will be sitting in a hall, like maybe with 50, 100 students, and the examination would be conducted, uh, you know, uh, in there'll be an invigilator in the hall. So the format is different, right? So in IELTS, which is a popular exam to give the pen and paper, listening, which is 30 minutes listening to four sections. There are four sections. You have to put in a headset. They will play a recording and you have to listen to it. It will pause for some time and then you have to answer it, right? It can be map, it can be conversation. There are different formats, but the answers are always one word or two word. Okay, so the chances of making scoring high, high in listening is there. So after listening 30 minutes, you will get 10 minutes to transfer it. Okay, so you'll give a transfer sheet. You can transfer it, and then after that you have reading and writing. In reading and academic, there are three sections that you have to go through. Again, you need to read those four sections and answer them. And the interesting part is that a lot of people make mistakes in terms of reading the entire thing thoroughly. Okay, so you have to skim through the entire the reading material. So what it means is that maybe you just read the first part, maybe the question is there, and you just read the question and try to understand where the answer is. So it's tricky. There's a section called true, false, and not given. So people generally lose marks where the information is not given and they consider it false. So it's a test of your analytical skills, right? So it's easy, but it's tricky. So concentration has to be really high when you're giving the listening and you are giving the reading test. Now in PTE, again, reading and your speaking is kind of combined. And in TOEFL also you have a reading section. The format is kind of like, the four sections are there. The timing is a little different. One thing you should always remember is that if you want to calibrate your listening, okay, you need to actually understand the accent. Okay, so most of the time you need to listen to UK, BBC, or like music channels which are using English accent or Canadian accent or Australian accent for IELTS and PTE. And for TOEFL, you need to watch more of Friends. You need to understand the US accent. So that's very important. Being Indian, we have a global, we have like localized the global accents, so you need to unlearn that. It's a very important part of your training. So whether you are opting for a self training or you want to get trained from some institute by a tutor, you have to calibrate your listening. Okay, that's the first step. We learn, a kid learns by listening, right? So if you're listening the correct way, all the three modules, the chances are that you're going to score high. Okay, so moving on, the exam pattern, I think I kind of mentioned that there are four sections: reading, writing, speaking. Interesting part about IELTS is it takes 2 days. Okay, so some of you who are working and you want to give, or some of you who are traveling to a different place, like to your hometown, Bhatinda, Jalandhar, or some hometown where this exam is available, you need to actually, block 3-4 days, right? 2 days doesn't mean it's going to be consecutive 2 days. So, for example, IELTS happens most of the time on a Saturday, so you might have your speaking 3 or 4 days, even like 7 days prior and 7 days after. So you would get the information like, within 48 hours. Now, IDP gives you a choice. It will give you, certain dates from which you can block, but then again, still it's going to be 2 days, right? IELTS is going to be 2 days. Now, in case of TOEFL and PTE, everything is done within a day because it is in the same time slot you are giving the entire exam, right? Yeah. So, how the scoring happens in all of them. I'll actually take you through understanding the pattern, like, how the scoring is done, what is the logic behind it. But before that, I just want you to understand, what is the equivalence of the score. So IELTS is scored out of 9. Okay. So, getting 9 on 9 in listening, 9 on 9 on reading is not very uncommon. If you are smart, you can do it. But even we have some of our students getting 9 on 9 on speaking, but getting 9 on 9 on writing is a great achievement. Okay, so that's how it is done, and your total marks is going to be an average of all the four sections. I'll repeat, it's going to be the average of all the four sections. Fine. Now, for top universities, you need 7 and above. Okay. So, like in each section, 7 and above, and overall, if a high score, then it's good, right? At the same time, the lowest acceptable in any universities across the globe, whether it's UK or Canada or US, is 5.5 minimum. Okay, so you cannot score less than 5.5 in any section. If you do, it means you have to take a retest. Okay, now on an average, somebody with 6 to 6.5, okay, can get into get an easy admission to different universities in from IELTS in the countries where it is accepted. Okay, so that's about the IELTS acceptable score. Now, whereas in TOEFL, like the acceptable minimum acceptable is 60 to 90, around 78, something beyond 7, around 80 is kind of fine. 84 to 100 is a good idea. Now, if you want to go for Ivy League, you have to get 100 plus, right? That's you should score. So the total score is 120, and it's cumulative. It's not an average like IELTS, it is cumulative 30, 30, 30, 30. So, it's going to be the cumulative score of all the four sections, right? Yeah. Then coming to PTE. So in PTE, you have again the four sections, whereas like reading and writing is kind of clubbed. Acceptable is again like 50 to 64, but try to aim around like 71 or 79 to 80. That is going to be a good idea. So this is how an IELTS and TOEFL or a PTE scorecard looks like. Okay. So if you look into PTE, because it's a very new exam, what they have done is that they have actually telling you how you have lost your mark or what you have done well that you have scored. Okay, they are actually telling you the different criterias. Fine. In IELTS, they don't give you the breakup, but again, we have something called band descriptors, which I'm going to take you through, with which you can do the same. So this is a kind of just a sec. Saying my PPT is not visible. Wait a minute. Wait. Just a sec. Can you see my slide now? Yeah. Sorry, I'm new to this interface. I just missed this part. Can everybody see it? Okay, so very quickly, those who couldn't see it, I'll just quickly take you through the different slides. Right. Okay. Just a sec. Sorry, hang on. Just give me a second. Just trying to have all of you see the PPT. I'm going to share it with all of you, not a problem. But, I don't think just sharing only one screen. Just put in a text and let me know if you can see my screen now. I'm moving the screen. Okay. So this is what I have covered. I'm just taking the screen one by one, and I'll go back and let me know whether you are able to see it or not. Okay. So yeah, were you able to see the screen, like the different slides? Can you quickly like put it in the window? Wait. Yeah. Okay. Right, Manjari. I missed some of the chat. Hi. Did you see the slide transition? Were you able to see it? Very quickly, can somebody tell me, were you able to see the transition when I was sharing the screen? Nope. Okay, so mm, we have an interesting case here. Let me see how I can really fix it. Okay, so can you guys see the examination pattern? So I'm just taking you through the slides. Maybe I have to change the slide and have to, go back. So this is the examination pattern, which I kind of covered, right? And hold on. I'll take you through all the slides one by one. I'm so sorry this thing happened. The second slide was, yeah, the different, where and how you can book it, right? Yeah. Hmm. This is how it was. Can you guys see it now? And right. Yeah. So I think this is working. Like if I'm having my, you know, screen by the side, I think the screen is moving. Okay, yeah, yeah, I think I figured it out. Okay. I'm sorry if I make a full screen, I'm not able to show it to all of you, but let me show it this way. At least you guys can see it. I see the screen moving. Yes. Great. So this is what I created. Quickly, I'm taking you all through. This was the first slide. This is me. And yeah, that's the comparison between all the three exams. Very quickly, let's go through it. We have work to do. IELTS, TOEFL, PTE. How do you book it? This is how, like, you can from where you book it. So the differences, the scores that you need. This is how the IELTS examination, the scorecard looks like. Great. So we've done till this. Now, so I think the screen is moving. You can see it now. Yeah. So now in terms of the IELTS and TOEFL, so what does it mean? What does the score means? The score means that 7 is a good user, like 5 is a moderate user. So something between competent and modest is which is acceptable in all the universities. So that's what we should kind of aim for, right? Yeah. So next part is that, which I was covering from the beginning, which exam we should take. Okay. So how many of you, let's do a poll, like, how many of you are clear about the country that you want to go for? Yeah. So how many of you want to go to Canada? You're clear about that? Yeah. So Okay, you can type in. Okay, no worries. I think it's going to take some time. So once you're clear about the country, then so the cycle of application. For example, if you want to go for a spring or want to go for a fall application, okay, uh, you can see it. You need to prepare almost like 7 to 8 months, or maybe a year before. So, do you have that time? In terms of timeline, where are you, sitting? So, what? How much time do you have? Okay. So if your application is closing, for example, we are in August right now, right? End of August. So people who are applying for the January intake, they have to give the exam by middle of September. Okay. So that's what. So that depends. So on that, you should choose the type of examination. Then the skills. So most people in India, Canada, Germany, Loknath for Canada, Sharmil in the US. Okay, Sharim. Okay, got it. So for I'll take you through for which country what what are the timelines. But so, and how many of you are like doing typing every day? You are not making typos, like you can type 300 words in couple of minutes. So what is your typing speed? Are you comfortable, or you have been you're comfortable in pen and paper, or you're somebody who's done the entire schooling with pen and paper, you're comfortable with pen and paper. So that's a very important criteria. So if you are somebody who is comfortable with the conventional, got it, Fahad, uh, conventional mode of exam, then you should go for the pen and paper IELTS. That's one of the oldest exam, and that's the best, right? Now another interesting thing is that you should know that the IELTS, the other two exams, TOEFL and PTE, is timed. I'll give you an example. For example, in speaking, there are three parts in IELTS, and they happen face to face. There is an examiner. Okay, I get it, Ajad. If you're comfortable in typing, you should go for IELTS pen and paper, right? But so it's a face to face conversation where you have the time to think. There is an space for ideation. Okay, but and then the examiner is going to understand your accent and going to be helpful in terms of taking you through the exam. But in TOEFL and PTE, there be recording which will be played, and you have to answer. And something which happens funny is that there are 4 5 or more than that people answering, speaking at the same time. So you will be in a room that everybody is giving the answer at the same time. That can be confusing. Okay, so that's why I'm saying be familiar with the format. Give some mock tests, which are available online, and then go ahead with it. Okay, so and a lot of people are not very good in time. So let's say like you start a conversation, then you gel well with the examiner, and then you show your quality. But in TOEFL and PTE, you don't get, the window is very less. Okay, so it's timings is not that flexible. As I mentioned, accent is an issue, and availability of study material. IELTS and TOEFL have, you can go online and you can find a lot of study material with which, if you are even taking training, can do self-study and or take your score to the next level. But in PTE, it's limited. The scoring, are pretty expensive. Fine. And then you should also understand that, are you confident that you want to go to a self-study, or you want to get tutored by somebody? All these criterias, right, they would help you, but the best part is by doing a diagnostic test, right? So let's start, let's do one quick diagnostic test right now. So all of you are ready? Okay, does everybody has a mobile in front of your hand? Everybody's got mobile, right? Yeah. If you have pen and paper, beautiful. If you don't have, just take your mobile. Okay, go to open the notepad, right? Yeah, I'm going to give you a topic. I'm just going to give you a topic, and then I'm going to give you 1 minute to think on it, right? I'll give you a topic and 1 minute to think on it. Whatever comes to your mind, you are going to, uh, write those points. Like, I'll give you an example. So if I think, Fahad, if I think of Paris, what comes to your mind? Very quickly. Manjiri, if I think of Paris, what comes to your mind? If I think of Mercedes car, what comes to your mind? Okay. So you see a car. You see the city of love. Okay. So those are the things. One word. If I, yes, beautiful. So can you see you're just thinking in one word? Okay. So the work that we're going to do, we are also, no, Germany, Eiffel Tower is not in Germany. A little correction. Got it? Acha, Mercedes with Germany. Got it. Okay. So I'm going to give you 1 minute. Okay. I'm going to give you a topic and write down all the ideas that you are getting. Okay. The car and Germany and Eiffel Tower were 3 or 4 ideas. Fine. Not costly and comfort. Just one word. Okay. So the topic is food. Topic is food, and your 1 minute starts now. Start writing. You don't have to, yeah, you don't have to put it in the window. Do it in your notepad. Topic is food. Food. 30 more seconds to go. Ten more seconds to go. Stop. Pen down. No cheating. Manjiri, Nurmula, and Fahad, and everybody who is there, tell me the number of ideas you got. You don't have to tell me what it was. Tell me the number of ideas that you got. Quickly type in the box, chat box, the number of ideas that you got. 3. No, Fahad, I didn't ask you to write the entire thing. I just wanted key ideas. 3. Anybody else? 10 ideas. No, that's not really 10 ideas. It's a sentence. Yeah. Loknath, 5. Sharim, 8. And anybody else? 5. Okay, cool. So you know what? What you use right now is a part of your brain which immediately gave you answers. Got it? So anybody who is above 4, you are good in ideation. So whether you're giving PTE, whether you're giving TOEFL, whether you are, giving IELTS, you will be able to go through ideation. So the format for PT, if you for TOEFL, if you see, you get 15 seconds to prepare, right? If you're just not getting 6 ideas in 1 minute, so you'll get less than one idea. You're getting the point. So you would need to have 2 ideas to be able to answer. Got it? So in the second section, there's 30 seconds. In the last section, you have 20 seconds to ideate. Now, if your idea bank is so less, how are you going to give the answer? So in IELTS, you have a format called Q card where it's timed. In TOEFL and PT, entire examination in time. In IELTS, you have like 1 minute for preparation, 2 minutes for speaking. Okay, but with this diagnostics test, somebody who is getting less than 4 should not try TOEFL and PT. Your immediate brain is not so strong, or like the muscle is weak in ideation. You're getting the point? So like there's limitation in time. I can't take you through the entire process, but this is the way you need to do a quick diagnostic test to know whether you are actually designed for this kind of examination or not. Like really, okay, got it. So the preparation trips and tips and tricks and the strategies, right? So very quickly, I told you that all has got four sections, right? Reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So the thing which is different is, I told you, the speaking format. The other interesting which is different is writing. You would be writing, you need to practice writing on a notepad because you cannot have the autocorrect when you're giving TOEFL and PT. You should be very careful about punctuation and spelling mistake. But in writing in IELTS, PT, in TOEFL, you have something called an essay. Essay is common to all. And in an essay, you are giving an opinion. Whatever the question which has been given, there's a word limit, there's a time limit which is given to you. You need to develop you know, your analytical skills in terms of paraphrasing the question. You don't write the question one more time, right? Paraphrase it, okay? Have it divided, have your opinion, have your stand, right? And then, say there are different types of essays and all of them. I can't go through all of them, but conclude it, right? The first section in IELTS is called reading. It's actually report writing where you have a chart, okay, and you have a map or something where you're not going to use your own information. You're just going to state it. In TOEFL, it's integrated writing. You listen to something and then you have to integrate to both. You'll read something and you have to integrate both the ideas. PTE, you have something called summarized text. Like you have to write in one line and you get 10 minutes for doing that, right? So that's one of the difference that you have, okay? Again, I'll strongly suggest go for a diagnostic test before you allow. Now let me give you a flavor on how to understand these three exams, right? How they are kind of marked. They're marked by something called, like, the band descriptors or rubrics. I'm just showing you the speaking. This is for TOEFL and this is for IELTS. These are published by the authorities, right? Okay, these are the public versions of the same. Okay, so let's look at the speaking band descriptors. So in IELTS, you would be, marked in terms of fluency and coherence, lexical resources, grammatical accuracy, and pronunciation. Okay. And so fluency means, for example, if I am giving you an answer that, what is my favorite food? My favorite food is kidney beans and rice, and I can have, two portions of it with a local drink or lassi at any given time of the day. However, when I was in London, I used to like fish and chips, and in the near future, since I'm moving to Canada, I think I would like to be a vegan. So I spoke almost fluently more than 3 sentences about the topic food, and I was coherent. Like, I was only talking about food. I was not talking why I like food. I talked about what is my favorite food. Okay, a what question answered in what. So a key idea being kind of illustrated and not repetition. I didn't say I like kidney beans and I like kidney beans and rice and I like kidney beans. So I am saying a lot, but that's repetition. Okay, so that's not fluency. Lexical resources, you saw that, uh, uh, I'll give you an example. For example, Dhoni is I want to get this book, I want to buy this book, I want to purchase this book. Get is like band 6 or 5.5, and then buy is around 6.5, purchases band 7. That's lexical resources. Same thing you also have in TOEFL. Okay, so general description or the content, again in PTU also, in content the lexical resources and the fluency is kind of taken care of. If you make any grammatical mistakes, you're definitely going to lose marks. But something, a tip out here, something, listen carefully, like what people don't know, that you have to show a grammatical range. So if you see in my share, I said what I'm doing now, my current favorite food now, what was in the past, what will be in the future, past, present, future. Okay, active, passive voice. So you need to demonstrate that. And pronunciation is obviously not having an accent. If you have an accent, then you should be able to hold it, or not making sersha of the MTIs that we Indian had. Another interesting thing in all the three is that how you deliver it, your intonation. For example, come and meet me at the office. Come and meet me at the office. Come and meet me at the office. The meaning changes. Can you see that? So this is how I'm just kind of giving a snippet view of how the evaluation is done. Okay, so we are running out of time. So I would invite all of you to do this cue card. Talk about a memorable celebration that you attended. You should say where it was, what it was for you, what did what you did there, and explain why it was memorable. So the way you will do it: 1 minute for ideation, the way we did for food, and record yourself on WhatsApp or anyway. See whether you're able to speak for 2 minutes. Okay, so this is how, like, recording yourself and going ahead with it is a good way to improve your fluency. So we're coming towards the end, and so here the admission and acceptability. So it's very important. Right now we are in August. So in Canada, the September entry is done. You cannot apply. There'll be like very rare cases where people can apply. So January, as I said, like you need to give IELTS now, right? Okay, so for US, like the fall, there are two intakes again: fall, which is in late August, and spring again in Jan. UK, like September is the key one. September, October is the key one. But there are also January and April, which are minor ones, which are not the major ones. Australia, February, July, again September is also becoming an exception. January, Germany, I think some of you want to go to Germany. It's October, okay, and April. Fine. Acceptable scores for good universities in the Europe is high. Like, so 6.5 is minimum in Germany. Okay, try to get something close to 7. Again in UK, if you want a like tier 4 visa, so it's 5.5 minimum and not less than 5.5 in any one of them, right? So again, TOEFL acceptable is 60 to 90. Try to get it 84 to 100. Okay, in US, I think I kind of covered this. Try to have so TOEFL is also getting popular in Canada. So 74 to high 100 is a range. It depends on what, like, are you going for education, for music? What is a major that you're choosing for BBA? So it changes, it varies, right? And again in PTE, like 50 to 64 is very low score, but still it's acceptable. 79, around 70 is a good idea. Okay, so now, if you have given one exam, let's say you've given IELTS and your score is not good and you're considering another exam. So this is an equivalent, okay? So if you've got like, band 6.5 in IELTS, which means you're around 65 to 78 in TOEFL, okay? So same thing is that, it's 58 to 65 in PTE. So that's your benchmark. So before like changing the exam, a lot of people do that. There's no harm in doing it. This is, you know, an understanding of where you stand, whether you give a diagnostic test or not. This is where you stand, right? So I think I've already closed the time. So quickly, I'll just take a few questions. Yes, participants who are there. So quickly, if you want to ask some questions, go ahead. Maybe we take a couple of minutes for the same. It's crazy, Fahad. No, it's the way, that's the way it's designed. And don't think it's crazy. A lot of people are uh, cracking all these exams and going abroad. So if it was that difficult, they wouldn't have kept it, right? Any questions? And I'm really sorry about the screen not being visible. I really apologize because it's a new format. Yes, I had didn't include, but there are multiple free resources where you can, give. But then some of them would be scored, some of them won't be scored. Got it? And like you won't get the latest one. You will be getting, the earlier ones. And the computer, since it's computerized versions, right? What I can suggest is that if you buy, a lot of, yeah, not they're not the resources are limited, not that much. You can buy the books, okay, and it comes with a lot of free exams that you can give. Got it? So it's a good idea to buy the resources. It's a tricky question. IDP or British Council, like, there should be ideally no difference. The only advantage with IDP is that you can block your speaking test. You have a choice. You can choose your dates for speaking. Yeah. Both of them follow the same format. The marking system they have their, it varies a bit, but overall, they follow the band descriptors, which is publicly available to give you the score. Anything else that you want to know? Anybody else? Great. So I think, we will just call it a day, and we will, close the, sorry, we will close the seminar right now. I hope like you got a snippet view of the entire of these three different exams, and we also did a quick diagnostic test just to give you a flavor of how it is and which examination you should go and yeah, then there are endless tips and tricks around it. But one thing which I would, say that all these exams is for hungry people. Okay, I have seen people who are really smart and confident and has not been able to crack them. Okay, because they thought they'll do their own way. So why people don't get it is that it's a game of cricket and they go and play ice hockey. Got it? So understand the rules. If you are taking training, and like so we are also present in Gurgaon. We give training, and you want online help, we are happy to help you. And please do give us review, and please review Admit Card for giving you such a wonderful opportunity. And I loved, sharing, the information with you. And I'm sure with Admit Card, you are going to get a lot of value with your study abroad program. I really thank Admit Card and thank all of you. So have a great evening. Thank you so much.